So allow me, if you will, to wear my hat backwards and to make a case that if you're trading in the prop firm space, that all you really need is one account. Now, it's pretty commonplace in the industry to max allocate between multiple prop firm accounts, right? To claim that you are a seven-figure funded trader, that you have 7 figures in funding, and that, mathematically speaking, it is advantageous because you can keep the same amount of percentage risk based on your total funding and receive a bigger payout faster, than any other way. Now, that only works if you are a seasoned trader with good risk management, which, as we know in this industry, the majority aren't. The case I want to make is this, that even if you are a seasoned trader, and certainly if you aren't, what you need is one account. So let's do a little math, and we'll use a 25K account with Apex as our case study. So you can trade up to 4 mini contracts and 40 micro contracts with a 25K account. Now, if you had a modest target of netting 100 points in the NASDAQ a week, that would be $2,000 a contract, or $8,000 if you're using all 4. So $8,000 a week equals $32,000 a month, and let me check, $384,000 a year with the smallest account. Now, for most traders, that is a really good year, especially on the 25K account. For all traders, new and budding, that's more money than you could have ever imagined right now. So what is the allure to maxing out our allocation across multiple firms when the smallest account can do most of the money that we could ever dream of? Now, the point I want to drive home to new and improving traders is that each account has a cost associated to it, whether the evaluation or the data fees, and that's if you pass the account on the first try. And so this kind of need to pass multiple accounts over multiple firms over multiple times requires a lot more capital than I think one would imagine. And if our issue right now is capital, it seems counterintuitive to be pumping our own capital into these prop firms to then lose it and bust it. With the smallest account being a net of only a couple $100 of your own capital, that if you take it slow and methodical, you are paying less upfront and less ignorance tax as you are learning how to trade. Right? It's like going to college. I can go to a private school and drop $300,000 on a loan, or go to a public school and receive grants and pay next to nothing and still end up with the same shitty 4-year degree. Now, I think one of the benefits of approaching prop firms this way is the fact that we are ultimately, as traders, not trying to rely on prop firms, especially if we believe that they may be in jeopardy in the future. So we would want to give them the least amount of our money as possible and to draw out the most of their money into our own personal brokerage accounts as possible. And that by doing so, we have to be better traders, which makes us better traders for our own personal capital in the future. That if we are just trying to receive max allocation and dumping bad trades in the hope of a windfall payout, that does not ultimately help us be sustainable in the future. And so the smallest account at the most conservative scaling plan ensures that you not only learn your model, but you learn yourself as a trader. And you do that while putting up the least amount of your own capital as possible. And sure, from there, if prop firms continue to persist and you've learned yourself, you've learned your model, you know what you should expect on a day-to-day basis, on a trade-by-trade basis, by all means, scale up, right? Use as much of their leverage as possible to be able to withdraw profits and to fund your own accounts, right? That's ultimately what we want to do, and that's ultimately the case for receiving max allocation across multiple prop firms. But that's not where I think we start. not if we are learning, not if we are new to trading. Our goal should be to provide the least amount of our own capital and ignorance as possible while we're learning how to trade. So that's my case for one small account.